Alright, so the title of this video is called "The Problem Is You." And this video was inspired by, people coming to me for advice, about, chasing their dreams, and their goals. After I got signed on with to help a magazine or to write for a magazine, a lot of people came to me for advice asking me how I did that. And the more and more I spoke with these people, I asked them, I was asking them certain things that they did throughout their day, what was holding them back. And we're speaking with a number of these people. The underlying thing that I came up with is the problem is you. You are the person that is holding yourself back from achieving everything that you want. You can read all the self-help books in the world. You can watch a million motivational videos on YouTube. You can call a person that's filled with wisdom. But at the end of the day, if you're not applying yourself and if you're not really trying, the problem is always going to be you. See, the problem is some of you don't want success more than you want to sleep. Some of you don't want success more than you want to be lazy. Some of you don't want success more than you want to party. And then some of you only really want success because you see somebody finally achieving it. And it was ordained for you to be great long before you were born, but your problem is being successful is not a priority of yours. Being cool is. And you want to know how I know? It's because I would ask some of you, how much time do you devote each day towards chasing your dream? And for majority of you, I already know what your schedule look like from the minute you get up until the minute you go back to sleep. And the problem is that you thinking that you could spend an hour out of your day, 30 minutes out of your day to go ahead and chase your dream, but that's not going to make anything happen. I don't get up 5 days out of the week at 3 o'clock every morning because I want to. I do it because it's a discipline thing. I do it because of where I see myself going. I do it because of the vision that I got in my head. I have to work a lot harder and a lot faster and a lot more diligent than the next person doing the same thing that I'm doing. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's why I do it. That's why I do it. What is it worth to you to get up and chase your dream? What is it worth for the better life that you want to come true? And if it's only worth an hour out of your day or 30 minutes out of your day, your dream ain't big enough. Your dream ain't big enough. If you are comfortable getting up, going to work, chatting online all day, then getting off work, hanging with people that ain't gonna be you closer to your dreams, standing on the block, talking on the phone all day. If you're comfortable doing all these things without chasing your dreams, the problem is you. Life is not a fairy tale. You have to work relentlessly at the things that you want to come true. And I give you one clue on how I know if you really chasing your dreams or not. One clue is, if some of the friendships around you are not slightly changing, you're not chasing your dreams hard enough. Successful people will tell you all the time that, when they went on this path to get more out of life, they couldn't bring everybody with them because everybody didn't understand the vision. Everybody didn't understand what they was trying to be. Some of us are comfortable having a mediocre life, an average life, but some of us, we don't want that. We got a certain, we got a certain potential. We got a certain voice inside of us that won't allow us to put up with a mediocre lifestyle. And we're not putting up that mediocre lifestyle. Some of the friends that we grew up with, we lose. We can't bring them with us, and they start thinking that we changing. Nah, we not changing. We want to change our circumstances, but we far from changing. And if you can't understand that, then we lose a few people. We can't bring everybody with us. And while I was coming up with the idea for this video, I was doing some research. I wanted to add some substance to what I was saying. And one of the stories that I came across was the legendary writer Zora Neale Hurston. Zora Neale Hurston, she was born in 1891, right? And when she was very young, she had enjoyed doing two things. It was two things that she loved doing. One of the things was she had loved reading books. And the other thing that she loved doing was she liked hanging around older people who told stories. When it came to reading books, she could pull whatever knowledge she could out of books. And when she hung around older people as they told stories, she would pick up on the lessons and the laughs and certain wisdom that was passed down. She had enjoyed doing that. But when she was a child, she had a very strong relationship with her mother. All right, her mother protected her and sheltered her from negative people, including her biological father. And her father didn't like Zora. He thought she was weird. He thought she was unlikable. He couldn't stand her. This is his own daughter. He couldn't stand his own daughter, right? And in 1904, when she was around the age of 14, her mother unfortunately passed away, and her world was crushed. She ain't feel like reading. She ain't feel like writing. She ain't feel like being around the older people who told stories. And she fell into a deep depression. And her father didn't like her so much that a few weeks after her mother passed, he sent her to go to a school down in Jacksonville because he didn't want to raise her. And not only did he not want to raise her, a few weeks after she was in that school in Jacksonville, he stopped paying her tuition, and then he just disappeared from her life forever. No more letters, no more phone calls, nothing. He just disappeared out of her life forever. And after all these events happened to Zora, she came to the realization that she was really on her own now. Even at, around 14, she came to the realization that it was only going to be her that was going to get her out of the circumstances that she was in. She was faced with a dilemma. She could crawl in a corner and cry her life away, or she could get her life back on track and be what she always wanted to be, which was a successful writer. So she went back to reading even more books and making up for lost time that, her father took away from her. And then she got a job as a maid, for one of the wealthiest people, in the area that she was in. And, while she was working these homes, in between her breaks, she would read books that they had laying around, and she would memorize, the paragraphs. And then a few years later, she would do something extremely risky. With her, wanting to chase her dream with being a writer, at the age of, she was 25, but, she knew she needed to work on certain things that school could only teach her. So she chopped off 10 years of her age, and she filled out an application to go to boarding school. And while she was in boarding school, she would use this time, to learn the fundamentals of writing and using the English language. And then from there, she went to Howard University to learn even more, and plus to establish connections with people. And then she got offered to go to school at Bernard College, where she went to finish her education. And then shortly after that, she moved to Harlem. And then the rest was history after that. After that, she became the first black female writer to ever make a living from her work. She became the first black successful female ever in history to ever make a living from doing her dream, from being a writer. And I tell you that story to say this: how far you go in life all lives and dies with you. No one can make your dreams come true but you. And you can't keep making excuses for not being where you want to be in life if you haven't dedicated yourself to achieving more. You already have the tools and the talent to be successful, so why are you not tapping into it? If Zora can do it, then so can you. And she had been on her own ever since the age of 14, and she was staying with random people trying to make her dream come true. She was standing with people she didn't know. She was standing staying with strangers, just trying to hold on to a vision that she had. But even at her lowest, even at her most depressed point, she never focused on her circumstances. She continued to focus on her vision. And it's time for you to get out of your way. It's time for you to stop being your own problem and start being your own solution. There's a line that I heard recently that goes like this: anything in life worth doing is worth overdoing. Moderation is for cowards. I'm gonna say that again. Anything in life worth doing is worth overdoing, and moderation is for cowards. If you really want to be successful, if you really want to have a better life in the future, then you just gonna have to overwork yourself until you get very, very, very tired. And even when you are tired, you're gonna have to keep going. There are no breaks when you're trying to fulfill a better lifestyle. There are no breaks when you're trying to have your dreams come true. There are no breaks when you're trying to see your vision coming to fruition. You're gonna have to outwork and outdo everybody that's doing the same thing that you're doing. The same thing. And once you learn to do that, and once you learn to keep doing that, you start piling up small victories. You start piling up wins. You start winning more than you start losing. And then it becomes like a snowball effect. One thing happens and then another thing happens. And then next thing you know, you'll be a lot more successful. You'll be a lot more further along than when you started. You gotta get out of your own way. You gotta stop being your own problem. You gotta start being your solution. You gotta cut off people that ain't helping you get to where you need to be. You gotta stop making excuses, and you gotta start making time to chase what it is you really want to chase. You do all that and you do it long enough, I promise you, something good will happen in your life. But nothing's gonna happen if you only given an hour or 30 minutes of your day just to pursue your dreams. You better off sleeping. If you're gonna do it all the way. And like I said before, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, because moderation is for cowards. Stop being your problem and start being your solution. One.